Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Saturday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson. Let's go and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We do have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight. Obviously, we will continue to talk about that isolated scattered shower activity as we move into this week, this week into next week. We also are going to talk about our low flood risk that will continue, but we might get a little bit of a break. We're also going to talk about obviously our long-term future and what potentially could happen as we go into next week, the week after, etc. Going into maybe even close to early to mid-September. And then we're also going to talk about some breathing conditions that will impact us this weekend. But that's pretty much all that we're going to talk about really for tonight. Remember that tomorrow, which I'm just saying this at the beginning, tomorrow fan of the month is tomorrow, so make sure that you're there for that for whoever wins. And then also, we also have our actual month forecast, our September forecast on Monday. So a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of stuff coming up. September forecast and the fall forecast also is coming up on Monday. So a lot of stuff is coming up. So make sure that you are watching for that. So let's go on now and talk about our current conditions first, because obviously that's the first thing that we always do, talk about our current conditions. And for right now, you can see that we do have some rainfall, but it's relatively isolated. We have some rainfall over here near Lancaster, rainfall near Cheraw, moving down here towards Lane, Russellville, Moncks Corner, Panopolis, going over into Utahville. Rainfall going in through these regions, even just to the south of Kingstree, getting some rainfall. But other than that, that's it in terms of our rainfall activity. Now for our rainfall for the entire U.S., we have rainfall going from the Dakotas down into Nebraska, down all the way towards Texas. So from North Dakota all the way down to Texas, rainfall, flooding going on inside of Texas as well as portions of Nebraska. We also do have some rainfall going on in Florida, rainfall going on over here in the Rockies, and then the Northeast may be getting just some isolated activity, but it's nothing too big, nothing too active, I should say. Look at the Ohio Valley, nice and dry. Same thing with the down here and like into the deep south, Alabama, Mississippi, looking good. Louisiana has some rainfall though. Cloud cover right now, honestly, most of that cloud cover is actually moving off. If you remember this morning, I said the cloud cover would be going on inside the low country, and it's seeming to be moving its way off, kind of what was expected. We also still have some fog activity that is going on, potentially, either fog or low clouds going on potentially, up there inside of the upstate. It probably is just low clouds, honestly, if I would just have to take a guess. But for the most part, low clouds going in from the upstate into the northern PD region. But for the most part, it's relatively on the isolated, the scattered side. For our cloud cover for the future, you can see that cloud cover will move its way. You can kind of see potentially some fog developing, but as we move later into tonight, but it pretty much will be, especially like inside that PD region and that coastal zones, with visibilities potentially from 1 to 5 miles as we move into tonight. Continuing to push this forward, you can see that as we move into tomorrow morning, 7, 8, 9 a.m. when my forecast video comes out, you can see that pretty much that cloud cover activity, it's there, but it's not widespread. Once you move throughout the day, though, we'll start to get a little bit more on the more widespread side, but still not terrible. Definitely still having a lot of clear sky, especially in the low country and the southern Midlands. Current temperatures right now, 70 in Columbia as well as 70 in Sumter, 70 in Somerville, and even 70 in Orangeburg, 74 in Murrells Inland, and 74 in Myrtle Beach, 74 in North Myrtle Beach, and even 69 in Rock Hill, 70 in Gaffney, and even 71 in Spartanburg, 72 in Greenville, and 74 in Anderson, 70 in Aiken, and even 70 in Orangeburg. We also do around 73 down here in downtown Charleston, 73 in Beaufort, and 75 in Hilton Head Island. Low temperatures for tonight seem to show around 63 in Greenville, 62 inside of Rock Hill, and even 62 in Spartanburg, 65 in Columbia, and 65 in Orangeburg, 65 in Sumter, and 64 in Kingstree, 64 in Florence, and 63 in Dillon, 69 in Myrtle Beach, and even 70 in Charleston, 72 in Hilton Head Island, and even 63 in Aiken, 65 in Barnwell. Now for your rainfall. You can see some rainfall is indeed possible, but it's mainly for that low country and that coastal Grand Strand area. Parts of the inland Grand Strand as well, but tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch goes from Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head Island, hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch for Moncks Corner, and then maybe even a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for Charleston going over into Georgetown. And somebody might even get a potentially an inch of rainfall through all of this. It's possible. That's why the gauge kind of goes all the way up to an inch, because it's possible. And up there in the upstate, there's some little areas up here that might get some rainfall as well. We'll look at the models and see what the models have to say about it. But the crazy score for tonight, we're actually at a 14, so we're inside the calm category. No significant weather. You know, we're not looking at anything significant. It's going to be cool, comfortable. No flood risk. You still will have that isolated shower slash, honestly, maybe some downpours, but not the heaviest in terms of downpours, but mainly just shower activity. That will continue through. But other than that, that's it. SPC outlook for tonight, thunderstorms are possible if rainfall does get going near the coastal region, which right now it's not. If you somehow get some rainfall over there, it will have the potential to turn into a thunderstorm as the ingredients are there. Tomorrow, pretty much same thing. A good amount of the coastal region, mainly that low country coastal region, and then up there in the upstate, from Greenville to Spartanburg, over into Anderson to Clemson to York, Gaffney. Thunderstorms are possible there. And then for Monday overall, it's definitely a lot more on, the less active side going into Monday, as there is not much of a thunderstorm risk here. Now for excessive rainfall. We do in fact have a threat for excessive rainfall tonight. We do have a threat for some excessive rainfall tonight. And it is mainly, again, for that low country area. Now, like I said, most of the rainfall is about done, so this may have been just from earlier, and the new update probably just may not have came out yet. But I will say that it definitely still is there, and we still have to treat it like it's there, even if the new update has not came out or come out yet. We still have to treat it like there is still a isolated flash flood risk, and that does go into Georgetown as well. But that's the only area. Day 2 tomorrow, that's nothing for tomorrow. Day 3 up here inside of the far upstate, up here near Fork Mountain and just to the north of Mountain Rest and just to the west of Rocky Bottom. Isolated flash flooding is possible there. Nothing for day 4, nothing for day 5. So we're good pretty much for the next, I'd say pretty much for like the next 5 days, except for on I believe Monday, to where we have like this little area right here. But again, not much. Now for our models. So we're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Time is in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure you go in and pay attention to that. As you go in and push this forward, you can see that overall, that isolated shower activity continue. Even once we get to around 1 to 2 to 3 a.m., you can see some rainfall activity maybe still going on near the coastal regions as well. By around 5, 6, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., still seeing some of that rainfall activity. But for the most part, most of us are dry. As we move into around 9, 10, 11 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m., noon. You see that there may be some isolated sprinkle/shower activity, but again, that's near like that coastal region, going into inland just a little bit, but again, mainly near the coastal region. By around 1 p.m. though, still isolated, still light shower activity. Once we get to around like 2, 3 p.m., rainfall activity starts to go on over there inside of the upstate. But again, it is relatively on that isolated side. It does look a little bit heavier though, potentially, than what you might receive like earlier, like near the coastal regions. And even inside the early afternoon up there inside the upstate around 5, 6 p.m. And that's why they have that thunderstorm risk up there because thunderstorms are possible up there. And same thing like it was talking about for the coastal low country as well for tomorrow, as thunderstorms are possible there as well. You can see them going on. As you continue all the way to around 8, 9, 10 p.m., it starts to kind of downgrade from that thunderstorm activity down into just shower activity. And then we get to around 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and it's a lot quieter. A lot quieter. And then once we start off the day on Monday, it seems that we are going to start off the Labor Day dry. So now let's go on and talk about our long-term future. So what do I mean by long-term? I mean just like the next 300 to 400 hours or so. So again, time's in the top right corner of your screen. You can see, Labor Day actually it seems to be pretty good. Just as you continue through all the way to September the 3rd. But once you get to around September the 3rd, that's when things start to take maybe a little bit of a dip in terms of some active weather. This might actually be a little cold front right here. And it seems like, or it might just be some cold air moving through, maybe a little weak cold front potentially maybe trying to move in as we go into around September the 4th. But there goes a bigger cold front around like September the 7th, and we get some more dry and cool air again as we move into September the 7th, September the 8th. And yes, will those high temperatures still be in the 90s? Absolutely. But those low temperatures will be a bit lower. Now, once you get to around like September the 11th, September the 12th, that it seems to look like that temperatures may be a little bit cooler. Now, is that due to rainfall? And it seems like it is, because rainfall obviously can bring those temperatures down. And it seems like that might be the case. But going back to where we were, you can see that September the 5th, the 6th stays relatively dry. September the 8th stays pretty dry. But then once you get around like September the 10th, again, September the 11th, that's when we're starting to see some of that rainfall activity move through, going all the way into September the 15th, where things again look calm. But again, that's over 300 hours out. Once we get to around like September the 12th, we really can't go any further than that, just because it's 300 hours out. But there's nothing else really for me to talk about in terms of the long-term future. I mean, except for just active and just dry weather kind of just flip-flop with each other at times. You're going to see active weather at times. You're going to see that quieter weather at times. It really just matters on where you are and when it happens. So that's it for our long-term future. Let's go and talk about the tropics. The tropics. We do have an area that we are watching for. Over here, Disturbance 1, a tropical wave is forecast to emerge off the west coast of Africa on Sunday. Thereafter, environmental conditions could support some slow development of this system while it moves west to west-northwest at around 15 miles per hour across the eastern and the central tropical Atlantic next week. So, nothing to be, like I said, the C word, nothing to be concerned about right now. But obviously, is it good to be aware? Absolutely. I definitely would be aware for it and pay attention to it, because ensembles are still too far out. We're still over 10 days for when this thing could potentially do something and impact us. So just continuing to watch this. This has a 30% chance of forming over the next 7 days, and this has no threat, so no chance, so a 0% chance of development over the next 48 hours. There is one more thing I want to show before I go and talk with the audience, and that is our peak wind gusts just as we move through this weekend. You can see that for our peak wind gusts through this weekend, we're going to have gusts from 20 to 30 miles per hour potentially as we move through this weekend. So it will be a bit of a breezy weekend, especially Sunday, so tomorrow, and obviously some part of Monday could potentially be a little bit breezy as well, so just watch for that for tomorrow and Monday. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say there, though. For the most part, we talked about our cold air and about how we could potentially get another cold front soon, especially going into potentially late next week, early the week after. So that's something to look forward to. I believe that that is all that I have to say for the long-term future. So let's go on and talk with the seems to be very short audience tonight. We don't have that many people here tonight, but obviously, all good. All good. We only have a couple of chats, and that comes from number one, Tro, who says, "Greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. How was your day? My day was great. Thanks for asking." My Nana says, "Hello, Jay. I had a nice day. The rain was over here early. No sun, but it was still a nice day overall. Great to hear. Rain pretty much, for me, I believe lasted. It was kind of off and on all day. Started at around, I'd say, when I woke up this morning, all the way until like I think around like 6 o'clock p.m. So it was just off and on throughout that entire time frame. Maybe even around like 7-ish. Trail then says, "Beautiful day here. I went outside today and also cleaned the patio. Great to hear. Glad that it was productive." Thad says, "Getting just if I trust all as well. The heat is holding steady. I sure hope relief is on the way." Since I guess we can go on and talk about it. After we talk about Trail's chat, which she was just talking to you. She says, "What is the temperature?" The temperature right now, I will say though, for San Antonio, since we're on that discussion, which by the way, if you have not hit the like button or subscribe button yet, make sure you go ahead and do so. We have 584 subscribers. We are 16 away from that main goal of 600 subscribers. 584. So let's go on and get there. Also hit the like button, hit the share button, share it with all the people that you know, because obviously sharing is caring, like I say. But the 4 locations outside of South Carolina that we talk about, obviously that being San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about those locations is obviously because we have people from those locations that watch almost every single night. And then we're going to talk about that. And also, I want to zoom in over there near Texas once we're done with the San Antonio forecast, because I want to show when the next relief will potentially show up. So starting off with San Antonio, low temperature tonight at 78, high temperature tomorrow at 97, and low temperature tomorrow night at 77 as well. No precipitation is expected tonight, but listen, got some relief on the way. Not only is there a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, but you will not believe this, but tomorrow night, showers are indeed likely. Showers are likely as you move into tomorrow night. You need the rainfall. I hope that you get the rainfall, because I mean, just being inside of a D3 drought, I mean, that's already bad enough. But then just add all this heat on top of it. And for the most part, this heat will continue. And so just a chance for some shower activity, or showers being likely, that is a fantastic plus. Now, I will say, if you don't get any showers tomorrow night, that would, again, just be very unlucky, because you have it's like a 60% chance right now of you getting rain tomorrow night. So if you don't get rain tomorrow, that would just be very unfortunate. In terms of when will this hot air last, or how long the hot air will go on for the most part, this will stay. Hot air will stay. Now, you will be in maybe the mid 80s / low 90s potentially as you move to September, and it's going to warm back up again, obviously. Get back to that 90-100 degree range. But when will it stop? I mean, you're going to continue to see high temperatures still in the 90s just as you continue to move into mid-September. So, unfortunately, there's not going to be too much relief for the heat. You may have breaks in between here and there, but for the most part, it's looking to stay just relatively hot. Talking about Raleigh next, with low temperatures tonight 61, high temperatures tomorrow 82, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 60. No precipitation is expected as you move into tonight and tomorrow. In terms of excessive rainfall and severe weather, for not only for San Antonio but also for Raleigh, there is, for starting off with San Antonio first, there is no severe weather that is expected, and same thing for Raleigh. No severe weather is expected. For San Antonio, which is kind of interesting because tonight, um, you actually are not under that risk. But tomorrow, unfortunately, some scattered flash flooding is possible, and some flooding could potentially be significant. So you have to watch for some flooding tomorrow for sure, mainly tomorrow night. So you have to watch for that flooding. Make sure that you are paying attention for that down there in San Antonio for tomorrow. Day 3, though, isolated flash flooding again on Monday. And then other than that, that's pretty much it. Now, for Raleigh, no threat or anything like that for any sort of excessive rainfall. Now, for Philadelphia, with low temperatures tonight at 53, high temperatures tomorrow night at 79, and the low temperatures tomorrow night at 58. No precipitation is expected, no severe weather is expected, and no excessive rainfall is expected. Duncan, Oklahoma being the last location with low temperatures tonight at 68, high temperatures tomorrow at 78, and the low temperatures tomorrow night at 67. There is a chance for some patchy fog tonight and tomorrow morning, but there is a chance of thunderstorms tonight, tomorrow, and then a slight chance of storms tomorrow night. No severe weather is expected, but for excessive rainfall, isolated flash flooding is possible not only tonight, but tomorrow as well. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? It says strong thunderstorms may bring heavy rainfall and flooding over parts of the northern Gulf Coast today and over parts of the southern Rockies into the high plains today through Wednesday or through the weekend. A refreshingly cool and dry air mass will continue to produce below average temperatures across the central and the eastern U.S. through this weekend. So this cool air obviously will continue. It will continue. So that's all for, I believe, what's going on just in terms of the entire U.S. flooding going on. We talked about that. We talked about there will be some heat that will potentially go on all the way from the Los Angeles area all the way down into San Diego. And then we also will have some heat going on inside of eastern Washington and northern Idaho, as heat advisories are out there. Let me go and read the chat one more time. That says got to be at least 150 degrees in the shade. That's funny. And then my Nana says we are waiting on the picture of your plant. I showed the picture of my plant actually a couple of days ago. I believe it was on Thursday. I showed the picture of my plant, but I'll show it again if you didn't see it then. I believe you were in the chat. I did, yeah, because I did see you inside the chat that night. So yes. I did show it on Thursday, but I will go on and show it again real quick. And we have another picture that we need to show anyway, so I'll go on over there real quick. Here's the picture of my plant. If you remember, I was just the night that I talked about it, I said that it's been thrown away. I said that it's been a week without water during the summer when we were on vacation, I believe, for one time, and it still survived. It still got all of its flowers on it still. It's starting obviously to curve to the left, obviously because that's where the sun is, so you're not really seeing too much activity on the right side. But it's still looking strong, and it got rainwater today, so I don't have to water or anything like that. That's pretty much all I said there. And then that says hopefully it will rain. Well, this was from earlier. If it did not rain, unfortunate, but got some very dark clouds going on over here near you. I'm going to assume that it did not rain, just knowing your luck. But if it did rain, that is, again, great to hear that it did. But let me go ahead and check. Let me make sure. No, I don't see where you said anything about it. So yeah, but this is the picture that he sent. Thank you so much for that. Let me go ahead and give a round of applause, not only to myself, but also to Thad as well for showing the pictures for tonight. And so that's it for the pictures for tonight. If you want to send in a picture, you can by sending them to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. Cheryl says, ooh, nice, I love plants. I have 3 inside. That is fantastic to hear for you as well. Glad that you have some plants inside, because honestly, having plants inside, well, I believe you should have plants inside and outside, just in general. Not just outside or not just inside, because you should have some inside and outside, but that's just me. I know some people don't really have them in both. Some just have them in one, or some just don't have any plants at all. But that's all inside the chat. So let's go on now and talk about the top fans for tonight, which I'm not gonna lie, obviously there wasn't too many people that commented, so it is just the only 3 people, which Terrell is number 1, my Nana's number 2, and then Thad is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. And so that's all that I have to say. Was still, even though with a couple of people, oh no, Mr. Anthony just tuned in and said good evening, everyone, good evening to you. Even though there wasn't much, we still got the forecast done, and it's still recorded, so the people that need to go on and see it while it's recorded, they can just go on and rewatch it. But that's all that I have to say for tonight. Hopefully everyone has a fantastic rest of your Saturday. Make sure that you go and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. We're at 584 subscribers, trying to get to 600. We are 16 away. Also, make sure that you are here tomorrow night, because tomorrow night, not only will we be talking about the week forecast for the week of August the 31st, going into September the 6th, but we also will be talking about the fan of the month, and then also Monday night, fall forecast and forecast for the month of September is coming out. So make sure, we're going to have a good slate coming up tomorrow night, and then also Monday night as well. Make sure that you are there, and I will be back tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning forecast update.